Hello and welcome to Navigating with Key. My name is Kenneth Eniojasenime, Keak, and I'm your regular host on this program. Today, I'm pretty excited to bring to you a new article for us to review. And remember, for the past, I think, 3 episodes, we have gone through reviewing the letter from our dear friend. And then in the last edition or in the last broadcast, I told you about our book, the book that will be launched in September. I'm going through the final phases. I am dotting the I's, crossing the T's, and just to ensure that when the book comes out, it's going to be something that would gracefully sit in your collection and you're going to be glad you do have it. I do have a very interesting topic to review with you today. I remember last time I told you this week we have two very interesting topics, and today is the first of both of the two, and it's titled Trust the Process. I know, a lot of times we've heard people say, just trust the process, just trust the process. So let's look at today's article and see what it actually means to trust the process. So, are you ready? Let's go. So, trusting the process is difficult when progress feels invisible. But first and foremost, we need to even understand what the process is before we can even begin to think of trusting it. Is that not true? Because how do you trust in something that you don't even know, you don't even understand? So, life is interesting. There is hardly anything new today. I mean this in the sense that though you may be creating something novel, but the process of creation is not exactly new, right? You would agree with me on that. One of my biggest mentors in life once said, "Success is not a mystery." He said, "Success is following revealed principles." But the challenge is that we want evidence. We want some form of confirmation. We look for signs that what we are doing is actually working. That's not bad. But the problem is, many times when those signs don't appear, we begin to doubt if what we are doing is right, if we are actually on the right path. And sometimes, worst case scenario, we even stop altogether. I love cooking. So I'm going to use a cooking analogy to kind of bring home my point to you. All right. And I love akara. I am going to own up to it that I love akara. So for those who don't really know what akara is a tasty Nigerian food. It's made from peeled beans, like black-eyed peas. We wash them, we ground them with pepper, onions, and your preferred seasoning. We beat it to aerate it, and then we fry in small balls. And my favorite combo is akara and pap. But pap is our major concern in this analogy. So pap is a corn or millet meal. I have a friend who once told me that to make good pap, you need two things. You need boiling hot water and the grace of God. And honestly, that's so true. So, but then you may want to ask, like for some people, ask, like, what is pap, right? So, pap it's a corn meal or millet meal, like I said, and then it goes by different names in different places. In Nigeria alone, uh, it goes by the name ogi in some parts. It goes by the name akamu in some other parts. So, I don't know what pap is called in your area, right? what is it about pap that relates to trusting the process? You see, when you're making pap, the main secret is in the initial mixture, the ratio of your pap and water, right? Of your corn mix and water. That ratio is very important. The moment you have that ratio correctly, you are sure. Well, let me not use the word sure because pap can be really tricky. But let's say every other thing goes without saying, in the sense that you have to trust that the hot water will do its job. So as you pour the water in the mixture and you stir, initially it looks like nothing is happening. But if you remain consistent, the mix will gradually thicken until you get your desired texture. But if in the process you lose faith, you will get just a watery mix, which is not good for anything. Progress is like that sometimes because not all progress announces itself. Some growth happen just beneath the surface, shaping character, building endurance, developing resilience before results become visible. Trusting the process in this sense means staying consistent even when motivation fades. Just like making the pap, you continue pouring in the boiled water. If you stop, you lose. Like my daughter would say, if you snooze, you lose. It means choosing faithfulness over urgency, choosing to remain committed, choosing to turn up every time over urgency. Like when you're making pap and you're pouring the hot water in, if you are in a hurry, you are likely to have a watery one. But you see, you need to be faithful to the process of making pap, and that's how life generally is. Do not rush to conclude that nothing is changing. One of my best saying is that little drops of water make a mighty ocean. In literal sense, it sounds impossible, but indeed, that's how life works. Just stay consistent to your plan. Remain focused. This is true about business. It is true about relationships. It is true about your job. It is true about your education. Just stay consistent. At work, turn up early, meet deadlines, put in more than basic requirements. When you do that, the promotion will come. In your business will grow. In your relationship, the relationship will blossom. Even in school, you will do very well. The process may not be changing your circumstances yet, but it may be changing you. Just like making that pap. As the water goes in, it is not changing the texture yet, but it is heating up the whole mixture to the point that at the right time, it begins to thicken. So that's our article for today, and I'm glad I had the opportunity of reading it to you today. So I want you to understand that the process you're in, trust it. Trust that your plans will work. Trust that that business you are in will yield something. Don't be in so much hurry to jump from one business idea to the other. It is beautiful to have several and then you pursue all of it. But when you're doing this, trust in the process. Be sure that this process will work. I once met a guy. Now this is very interesting. Okay, yeah, I once met a guy. So this guy, when he was done from the university, he decided that he was not going to chase any job. And then what he was going to do is to make fufu. I told you I like food. So I'm going to give you food analogies. But this is real, right? He decided that he was going to make fufu. Fufu is our traditional food in Nigeria. It could be, it's made out of cassava, right? So he decided that he was going to make fufu and supply to the local restaurants in the area. And he started. So he would make this fufu, wake up early in the morning, make it, and then take it to the different restaurants and supply. You know, he continued this for the first year, second year. It didn't look like it was going to make money for him, but he stayed faithful. And in the end, this man became the major supplier to almost all the food joints in the area. So much so that the demand became higher than what he could supply. So he had to scale his business and increase his capacity, and he could meet it. You know, what in the beginning looked like a not very dignifying job for a graduate became a brilliant business idea. So, what is it you're doing? What is that business idea you have? Stay faithful to it. Trust the process. As long as what you have makes sense. You know, there are some ideas that no matter what you do, they can't earn you more than what it is. Why? Because the market is fixed. Yes, I understand that. But as long as your idea has not has not tapped out its limit, stay faithful to it. Keep to the process. Is it your relationship? Don't look at things only from your angle. Remember what we said about the two C's of relationship: communication and compromise, right? Have communication, talk about it, invest in a relationship, and then it will work. Is it school? You want good grades? Invest your time in it. Trust that when you study, you will understand, right? Don't assume that there's no way I would understand this. No, 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 no. Give it some time. Trust the process. Go to school, sit in the class, listen to your teachers, read after school, practice the questions again. Ensure you put in some work. Trust the process. The process always works. All right. I am a testimony to that. I have gone through a lot of stuff. I've trusted the process so many times. And my life it's like a series of testimonies of different things. You know, maybe someday I would take out time and share some of my life's testimonies, right? And you'll see that the process works. Okay, so thank you so much for being a part of today's broadcast. I'm I hope you got something from it. I hope you're excited about the next phase of life that you will be facing. And when it comes, trust that you have the capacity to take it head on. My name is Kenneth Enelja Senime, Keaki, and I'm your host on this program. So till I come your way next time, have a lovely week. Bye bye.